Good morning and welcome to Jasiri, the show where we don't just skim the headlines, we wring out the meaning and demand clarity. It's Monday and we're stepping into a brand new week full of stories, questions, and as always, unapologetic truth-telling. Now we have quite the lineup for you today, from the local stories that hit home to the national conversations shaping Nigeria's identity. The week is here and so are we, and you know how we do it. But first,
as we warm up today's conversations, let's start with something, or in this case, someone that got us raising our eyebrows this weekend. In a recent interview on CNN, Kemi Badenoch, leader of the UK's Conservative Party, said she couldn't pass on Nigerian citizenship to her children simply because she's a woman. Now, she went as far as calling Nigerian citizenship virtually impossible to obtain. But here's the twist. The Nigerian constitution says otherwise. But before we get into that reality, let's hear exactly what she had to say.
Muslim, they don't tolerate this sort of stuff. They don't tolerate this sort of stuff. And I talk about how we are allowing our tolerance to be exploited. We have people pretending, for instance, to be homosexual so that they can claim asylum, and then they go on to get married and have children. They're abusing the laws that we have. We have people who go through false conversions. They come to the parish priest, they're very excited. Oh, these Muslims want to convert to Christianity. They convert so that they can claim asylum and say, if I went back to my country, I'd be persecuted. This is exploitation of a system that was not designed for this sort of thing. We have to be honest about that. Nigerians would not tolerate that. That's not something that, that many countries would accept. There are many people who come to our country, to the UK, who do things that would not be acceptable in their countries. It's virtually impossible, for example, to get Nigerian citizenship. I had that citizenship by virtue of my parents. I can't give it to my children because I'm a woman. Yet loads of Nigerians come to the UK, stay for a relatively brief period of time, acquire British citizenship. We need to stop being naive, and that's why under my leadership we now have policies to make it a lot harder to just get British citizenship. It's been too easy. It's basically a conveyor belt. We want people who have who want to come to our country to be net contributors, not people who will immigrate and then need welfare, need social housing. That's not right because they haven't paid into the system. So there's a lot that I'm changing on policy that is suitable for the times we live in. We could get away with these things before the era of mass travel, before mobile phones, before small boat crossings. There's just the global mass migration which we're seeing that's very destabilizing. They didn't have that in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. We need rules.
Okay, so now I'm really curious as to what's driving her narrative. Is it a misunderstanding of Nigeria's laws, or could it be something more political? Because Nigeria's constitution, section 25, clearly says any child born abroad to either Nigerian parent automatically qualifies. The gender of the parent doesn't matter. Now, unless she renounced her own Nigerian citizenship before her children were born, her claim simply doesn't hold up.
Honestly, I'm sure some may be asking, why does it matter when powerful voices tell stories that reshape how the world sees nations like Nigeria? This is what we think. It is a provocative use of personal narrative, but one based on a misunderstanding or misrepresentation of Nigerian law. And as she pushes her tougher immigration rules in the UK, it's eye-opening to see how she frames her own experience and how it contrasts with our political messaging.
Now, the second thing I think we need to address is the tone. To describe Nigerian communities in the UK as forming mini Nigerias and using that to justify exclusionary policies, that's not right. So, dear Auntie Kemi, your kids may not have Nigerian passports yet, but it's not because you're a woman. It's probably just because while you're holding power in another country, you're denying your identity in your country. It's one thing to critique immigration, and it's another to use your heritage as a prop while distancing your children from it in the same breath. And that, my dear, is totally on you. I trust Nigerians to have a thing or two to say about this.
So let's take a look at reactions. Our cultural differences are obvious, and our social evolution can't be compared, or societal evolution can't be compared with the UK. She is who she is. Nigeria will be a better society, and we are on our learning journey. It only could have been better and faster. Kemi often references Nigeria's flaws, yet she holds office in the UK. If you want to lead, start by fixing the system you're actually in. Personally, I think she lacks the vision or policy depth to lead the Conservative Party, so she resorts to provocative sound bites for clicks. A lot of her public statements carry a sharp tone, almost like they're aimed to provoke or distance herself from anything tied to her background. It's one thing to be firm or principled, but when it starts sounding bitter or targeted, it's hard to see it as leadership and not just resentment with a mic. Wow. Historically, Nigerian law has allegedly faced criticism for being discriminatory, particularly in cases where women are unable to confer citizenship to their children in the same way that men can. As of now, I think Nigerian women can pass their citizenship to their children if the father is not Nigerian citizen. While her statement reflects some of the challenges women face in the context of citizenship, it may not be entirely accurate given the current legal framework in Nigeria. And the answer is no, it's not accurate. Kemi is damn right. Nigeria's citizenship laws treat foreign spouses differently based on gender. While a foreign woman married to a Nigerian man can acquire citizenship through registration, a foreign man married to a Nigerian woman is not granted the same right. Instead, he must undergo a lengthy naturalization process. This disparity, outlined in Section 26(2)(b) of the 1999 Constitution, has been criticized as discriminatory. But that's not what she was referencing.
Exactly.
Let's take this last one. It is false that her kids can't be citizens of Nigeria. If a child is born outside Nigeria to a Nigerian mother, they are still eligible for Nigerian citizenship by birth. They can apply for registration as a Nigerian citizen if they meet certain requirements, such as one of the parents being a Nigerian citizen. Nigeria primarily follows the principle of jus sanguinis, whatever it is, meaning citizenship is acquired through patronage, specifically by birth to Nigerian parents, and this applies whether the child is born in Nigeria or abroad. Now, you know, I've often said something about Kemi Badenoch, and she is one of those, she's not an immigrant, actually, because she was born there. And then there was, I think after that they changed their stuff. So I won't say she's an immigrant. She's the child of immigrants. But she comes across as one of those people who's always wanted to say, I'm not like them.
Yeah.
Because she has such a distinct name. Kemi already, you know, is a Nigerian name. I don't doubt she probably has an English name, but she likely grew up with her parents calling her Kemi and then their family surname. But she's so obviously one of those who's so eager to say, I'm not like them. And I think that Nigeria, I said it when she was elected as the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK, I think Nigeria and being of immigrant parents is part of her spiel. If you had to remove Kemi saying Nigeria when it comes to anything immigration or comes to her serving, I don't know what she would have to say. I don't really know what she would have to say.
It always comes out like she doesn't have any other narrative or any other story to push. There's so many times they would ask her a question that has no relevance to referencing Nigeria, but she would bring Nigeria into the conversation. Just
for clicks.
Just for, I do not know. It's just like, imagine if she got into, if she was born in UK now, and with all these harsh laws and everything she's making, and it puts her out and says, okay, if you were born in the UK, you cannot get British citizenship. Imagine if that law was existing when she and her parents were in the UK. Would she have the temerity to say audaciously that,
like
she's British?
With her full chest.
She will not be able to say that. So the fact that, and it's not only Nigeria that immigrates irregularly or illegally. So why is it that her narrative is only focused about Nigeria because she was born to Nigerian parents? You know, what is it?
If she were, you know, there were times where people who snitch, they call it, there's different names.
If you snitch, you...
Makwere. There are different terminologies for people who snitch. Kemi would have been the first person to say, okay, if anybody would snitch, she would snitch. Because anything that has to do with whatever she's pushing as a narrative is cloaked in Nigeria and our proclivities. But if you want to spill that, tell the truth. Let's spill it correctly. The immigration system, the laws surrounding nationality and all of that, that has evolved. So when she says, oh, because she's a woman, her children cannot have Nigerian citizenship because you're a woman, man, that's not true. And we know that it's there in the Constitution.
So, to be honest, this would have been less ludicrous if her attempt at becoming more Catholic than the Pope has not been an absolute failure, because they don't want her, we don't want her. She's dangling somewhere in the middle, and she still has the temerity, like Lolo said, to keep saying these things. at first maybe she started off doing her research and maybe telling true stories but adding a bit of exaggeration, but now she's just blatantly lying, and I don't know what her end game is, because clearly we've seen that your attempt to become more British than the Brits is not working. But I applaud her consistency, though, the fact that she just, every time she holds a mic or sits for an interview, if she doesn't mention Nigeria, like Tolu said, it's like her body's biting her. So she should keep at it, honestly. It's just so sad, because now it's just like an empty sounding drum.
I'm just hoping that a Nigerian man has not hurt Kemi before. Maybe when she was in school, maybe one Nigerian boy had done had become a Nigerian demon or something to her, and that she has to just have it in for Nigeria.
Because she's just anything she says.
A woman can actually say, line them up and shoot them all.
Yes.
They're Nigerian.
You know what, Lolo, you said it. We have to be worried when people of her caliber and her position get certain things wrong like this. Because there are lots of people in the UK who run with this narrative and think that she's absolutely right. Kemi Badenoch is wrong, and it needs to be said and it needs to be clarified. Now, she could be right when she's talking about a woman giving citizenship to her husband, but that was not the reference she made. And that's something that's been criticized. We've talked about it here on Jasiri, but the reference she made was in giving her children citizenship. And Kemi, if your children or if you want citizenship for your children, you can walk into any Nigerian immigration center and passport office and start the process. But you're wrong in what you said, and it needs to be said. And again, you know, when you think back to the previous leaders before her, you had Rishi Sunak, and then there's one Sue, I can't remember her name, but they were both of Indian descent. Do you hear them? Do you know how? Do you hear them talk about Indian migrants to the UK? No, there's a disdainful way in which she talks about Nigeria. And if you don't like us, leave us alone. Stop talking about it.
Hoping she can thoroughly change her name.
She became the leader of the UK Conservative Party on this anti-immigrant, closing the borders, I'm not Nigerian like them kind of platform. It has gotten you here. Apparently, it's the only thing keeping you here, because if you didn't have it, what keeps you as the leader of the UK Conservative Party?
I keep looking at Kemi Badenoch, and sometimes I wish that a horror setting was, you know, all those horror films where you have told everybody that, oh, I'm anti-immigrant, and something bad happens, and you are now in the same room with Nigerians, and everybody's looking at you in that way of, where are we going to start slicing from?
And then we now say,
and then you begin to say, I'm sorry, I'm one of you. My mother is Nigerian. I said, no, we'll remember everything you said out of your mouth, and we're going to eat you.
You're not serious. But it just had to be said that she got her facts on this wrong. She got it wrong on a very, very important platform. That was GPS on CNN, and it just has to be clarified. We can't let that kind of narrative go. We know the narratives of Nigeria that are already out there. Let's not add on. Auntie, we already dogpile ourselves. We don't need you where you're sitting to add on to our issues.
If you left me in the media, anything Kemi Badenoch said would be water on the back of a duck. I will not click. I will just...
Except for things like this. If it's personal opinion, you know I said it. But this kind of thing has to be clarified.
No, but again, we can, they say, see the, what's it called? If we're looking on the bright side, maybe what we need to do is now take a position of defense. This is where need come, you know, maybe what we need to do is when she says something, we come out with facts, details, documents, so that maybe this is her own way of indirectly spotlighting Nigeria. So she said something, counter it with the right thing, and let's the one.
Don't worry, another person would. You know, they've showed that one pepper, small pepper. Maybe they're going to add on to the pepper. You know, it's so nice that the people she's pushing so much to be a part of, every time they keep telling her that you're not one of us. Maybe I wonder how she feels when she gets out of office and gets to be by herself.
You don't understand. Blessing said something that she comments her consistency. She is consistent.
No, she's consistent.
So in that consistency, she will be pushing the narrative that, like I said it before, I'm not one of them. Like I said it before, she doesn't have a problem with that, I don't think.
Those kind of people who tend to be immigrants or children of those immigrants are dangerous, because they're the type of people who climb up and then want to pull the ladder up behind them. Those people are dangerous. Okay, now we needed to get that out of the way and clear the air. But after the break, let's see what's got Nigeria buzzing this morning. What happens when a student reports revenge porn, only to be punished by her university? And we get into the words that Edo Governor Okpebholo had for Peter Obi. Stay tuned. This is Jasiri. We'll be back.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to the show. You're still watching Jasiri, your go-to program for bold conversations and powerful stories. The show where we interrogate power, culture, and the stories shaping our shared identity. So, in the video, a female student of the University on the Niger, Umunya, is seen physically assaulted and humiliated by school security while being forcefully evacuated from the school's premises. Why? She was suspended by the school's management following the leak of her nudes online by her ex-boyfriend who had tried to blackmail her, and she reported to the school authorities. Let's watch the video.
What is happening?
Now, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, is getting involved and has asked those who know the student to advise her to reach out to the agency immediately. Also, in response to the video, I have goosebumps.
Honestly.
Also, in response to the video, the school has now released a statement confirming that it is aware of the incidents while affirming its zero-tolerance policy for abuse or misconduct, whether staff or students. The statement stressed that the behavior captured in the video does not reflect the institution's values, which are rooted in faith, character, and grace-filled leadership. I want to say something.
Now,
What
the
does that
statement
even mean?
also revealed that a disciplinary committee has been activated to investigate the matter and that the security personnel involved have been suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. We remain resolute in our determination to learn, improve, and protect the dignity of all members of our beloved institution. The statement concludes urging calm among parents, students, and the public, asking them to allow the university's internal processes to run their full course, pledging transparency, justice, and fairness.
So, where is this? I want to know where the transparency is supposed to start from. If this student her nudes were leaked, which is against our law, she can actually sue whoever does that. That is one. So the school now suspended her
For 1 year.
for 1 year. So that is not that. How do we begin to even unravel that? How about the student who released the nude?
Yeah. How about the boy?
How about the boy? And now you forcibly evict her in such a violent manner.
Yeah, such a violent manner.
I must have seen 4 security people. I think they were wearing blue.
We sat at this table asking,
And one man in orange.
was he kicking her?
He has
He has
I
a
don't even
cane.
know a
He
cane.
was whipping her with it.
That's a plank.
And is suspension
A
the
woman
kind of
has
good punishment? Is it suspending them that is the appropriate punishment? That's assault. They should be arrested.
So there's a bit more to this. So apparently it was the ex-boyfriend or a fellow male student who had her nudes, who had been blackmailing her financially and emotionally. And he went so far as leaking it to his friends and the whole school. Now, the girl in the video went to the school to report the issue, but word spread that she was suspended instead, and no punishment was given to the male in question. She was given 1 year suspension. Heartbroken and traumatized, she pleaded with the school to leave the next day, okay? Due to some unknown reasons. We don't even know what time they suspended her, what time she got the information, what if getting on the road at that time of day was going to even be dangerous for her. Instead of compassion, she was met with cruelty. Now, 3 security officers, it even looked like more, you saw the guys in the blue, a lady, and then orange, dragged her out like a criminal, beating her and throwing her things out. You know, I always say, what do I tell you guys about Nigerians and power? Because so many of us are powerless in other aspects of our lives. When we're in that small place and we have small amounts of power, we exert it to the end. And doesn't this remind you of the young girl who died because she couldn't get access to her insulin?
Yeah. This reminds me of the conversation that we had when we're talking about this dressing indecently and being fined. And when the Honorable Commissioner was saying, the Speaker of that woman, was saying that it's the woman, it has this focus on girls and them being responsible for their actions or for whatever befalls them is beginning to do my head in. Because first of all, this is a student whose nudes were leaked by her ex-boyfriend. You suspend her for 1 year, but the boy goes untouched. And tomorrow you expect that victims come out and speak up. And this is what they get for speaking up and speaking out. How do you expect change to begin? How do you expect people to have the confidence to say, I can trust the system that if I say my own part of my story, I will be believed? Or justice will be done?
I want to ask you what system? The same system that continues to keep lecturers in office after they've been flagged for allegations of sexual harassment, sex for grades, sexual misconduct. Some systems in some universities, there's even no consequence. You know, there's opportunities sometimes where you say, just do a panel. Even if we know the panel is going to let them free, just do a panel. So there's some situations there's even no panel. And at the end of the day, whether it's in universities, whether it's in places of work, whether it's on the grounds or on the roads, in the markets outside, in churches, so in mosques, it is the victims who come forward, it's the victims who face backlash and who face the systematic neglect, and they face backlash from the system and from those who uphold these rules. What is suspending these people going to do?
So all this
they know what they want to do.
That they've said no, c'est pas juste. So if there wasn't any social media, if there wasn't any social media,
if somebody in her hostel did not record that,
exactly,
and put it on social media,
it seemed like no one could enter. You know how you see somebody's doing something, but you jump on the person's back and then try to force the security person. Everybody's just
in the beginning. If you go back to the beginning,
they were fighting and pulling them away.
If you go back to the beginning, there are 2 students. They look like they jumped on. They jumped on one of the hostel staff in the blue. What is because she was suspended? What is this?
And
what is this? Pulling them.
Have we even noticed how when these kind of things happen, the schools or institutions concerned come out and start speaking big English? We're looking into it. Have we ever asked,
what did they do when
what does the law of that institution even say about this? It's so bad that the laws of these different institutions reflect the culture, how Nigerians see things. They never would envisage that teachers should be punished for doing this. So I don't think they would even have that pre-planned. You know, normally in an institution or a company, you're supposed to have, okay, if this happens, this will happen. But you hear things like, oh, we're looking into it, we're trying to decide the right course of action. That means that it was never even stated in the first place that if security, personnel malhandle students, so and so should happen to them.
But they say in their statement that it's unacceptable whether it's security or staff. And then
I just wish the parents of this child would even take it up legally.
Exactly.
Because there are so many loopholes to these things.
And if we keep saying
this girl is suspended for her nudes being leaked,
she's the victim.
She's the victim.
Let me tell you, I'm very sure that there are people inside the school that believe that her nudes being leaked are her punishment for sending the nudes. It's the same way that some people believe that young kids or young teenagers engaging in sex and the girl getting pregnant is the punishment for them engaging in premarital sex. Meanwhile, who walks free without any punishment? So there is a young man involved who sat somewhere who said whatever this girl did to him, whatever their conversation was, maybe she didn't want to pay you money or whatnot, that the best form of anything was for him to leak her nudes. Revenge porn is a crime. I don't know if it's a crime in every state.
Every state, yeah,
it's a crime in Lagos, and I applaud Lagos State for that. But revenge porn is a crime. And you have to think about what kind of young men are we raising.
She should be protected. This is an institution of learning where we're supposed to be forming values, encouraging culture.
Yeah.
But she did report. I'm expecting that the school would even say, okay, let's look into this. Where's the boy? How did it happen? And you know,
Oh no, the
So even without the revenge porn, he could actually go to jail for blackmail. Of course, Nigeria,
extorting money
blackmail,
from her.
extortion is actually against the law. So even if we say we're not catching him, if the state doesn't have any laws on revenge porn, the state has laws on blackmail. It's across the federation. Just watching that is disturbing. And the way they're talking, we're a faith-based organization, and we're going to be sure that this is not going to happen, and that parents should allow us to be calm, and we're going to do the full course, and we pledge transparency, justice, and fairness. Where was the justice in the hearing that suspended her? Where was the justice?
All these schools that are faith-based now, do you know that that is where some of these heinous acts are occurring? I don't want to begin to mention.
No, but we know.
It's happening one too many times in this faith-based institution. Anyway,
That's true. Let's take
reactions. Because Nigerians are really strange people.
If she probably doesn't have a place to stay, she should have just gone with them quietly and come in later that night. Come in later that night. So then they'll say that she broke it. Please, let's move on. Let's move on. So the victim of revenge porn and blackmail was suspended, assaulted, and humiliated for not bowing to the blackmail of the perpetrator. Wow, SMH. Why is the girl dragging with them? All this would have been avoided if she quietly gets her stuff and
Did I tell you Nigerians are strange?
So they don't give students a fair hearing or what? I don't get. The right thing to have done before this was to set up a committee and then proceed with investigations quickly and the rest. Yes, it's a scandal, but you saw a leaked nude of your student or whatever. Doesn't mean the person involved is outrightly into nudity. I can't judge anyone, but relationships these days are getting too trustworthy and comfortable to actually allow use of phone even when one of the partners is naked. Of course, I mean, relationships are built on trust after all. But now there's a breakup, ex-boyfriend as in the write-up, and it's gone down with this happening where I've just read of a possible blackmail. The university should have done better than this at first, and if it's blackmail, then there should be some form of reconciliation for the students and then a serious punishment for the person that released such images, both from the school, if the culprit is a student, and from law enforcement agencies as well. That's long. This is blackmailing. The school management needs to do better. The lady needs to file a lawsuit against the ex-boyfriend and also against the management for unlawful suspension. You can come for me, but it's just the facts. They need to call the lady to face the panel and answer questions before she got suspended. But some university management won't care about it, and that's not part of the rules and regulations. The schools are wrong. Nigerians like causing a scene just to create a pity party. In as much as I don't encourage the use of force in evicting her, do you know it's a crime to resist arrest or eviction in developed countries? You first of all obey and later appeal. That would have been best bet than having all this scenario.
See the English where you the time.
Wow.
Didn't I tell you Nigerians are strange people? The times that we're living in now, do you know that half the time I want to get into a public debate about something that I feel
Then you just
about.
reverse.
I just refrain from it because by the time you start to read and see how people support what you think is wrong,
comprehend.
I'm confused. People go to your Instagram page, they don't know what you posted, they don't know who the person is. They'll copy it and put it on their own blog. And they will say, she said in an Instagram post. Did she say it to you directly? Or you just copied? And I'm just confused, and I'm like...
And I want to make a point about the nudes. Do you know there are so many ways that nudes are gotten?
Yes,
the people who are in the videos or the pictures are not aware.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it was sometime last year or so, the girl that set up the camera and was doing live streaming, she was covered, but her friends were changing, walking past, and it was one of them that saw. Apparently, she sells those videos, or she was selling those videos to men. She had a Telegram. So you can be asleep with somebody that you trust. You can be in the shower and they have at these days.
I told you about the one that happened in a private school I don't want to mention, that I was told that she was recording people in their hostels, a girl. And then she was recording it and selling it on one of these pornographic sites. It was somebody that saw her recording and they saw videos of girls in their hostels. She was sending it to her
Imagine
boyfriend.
you're going to shower.
So imagine those videos leaked. How is that the offense of the person who was recorded?
Why do you think that's consensual?
Without your knowledge.
How do you think that because the news leaked, you just automatically assume that the person
the one that they knew
was the one that gave the go-ahead for that?
Do you know it terrified some of them so much now that they said when they're in the bathroom, they will not even allow two people to enter the bathroom at the same time because they're just afraid that anything could just happen.
This is a larger conversation that comes out of this. So what we are seeing now is not in isolation, because when that happened in when watching that video, first of all, we gasped at the table here because we're wondering, okay, what's the furore? What's going on here? Only to realize that you are jacking a female, you, male security, you did jack her because you want to show power or because they said you should evict the student. Look at how you are treating.
Yes.
Did she steal? Did she? How dare you manhandle the students now? It's clear.
Those girls.
I'm telling you, they jumped on him and tried to.
Are you not even thankful that maybe they were suspended too? Or they will find them that for trying to prevent something bad from happening.
Tomorrow somebody will say, who sent you? Maybe next time I should just mind my business.
This is happening in the university. So are you not surprised that some of us, that's why you see this generation, they don't, the lines of right and wrong are so blurry that people just jump into things. And when you hear some comments, you're like, are you human? Where did you get this understanding from?
Oh,
there's a lot of error, and we will follow this story, and hopefully we'll get some response and some updates, and we'll share them with you as that happens. And we hope that those who know her encourage her to approach NAPTIP, because there's a lot of justice that needs to go around, and there's a lot of punishment that also needs to go around.
And I do hope that justice is followed through, honestly, and they tell us what they did to them, not just we have resolved the issue. Anyways, up next, is it protocol or is it a threat? Governor Sunday Okpebholo's words after Peter Obi visited his state are causing controversy across Nigeria. We get into that after this.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Jasiri. Tensions have flared after Edo Governor Monday Okpebholo demanded that former presidential candidate Peter Obi get permission before entering the state again, warning that his security will not be guaranteed if he visits unannounced. The governor links Obi's last visit when he donated 15 million naira to a subsequent surge in violence. Here's what he said. Let's hear it from the governor.
I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, guys, she will get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
Civil society is enraged, calling it a veiled death threat and a clear breach of Obi's constitutional freedom of movement under Section 41. Now, prominent voices like Femi Falana and human rights groups have demanded an immediate retraction and apology. However, in a statement by the governor's CPS, Fred Itua, he said that Okpebholo's statement was given various misinterpretations. According to The Punch, the statement said it's imperative to state clearly that the governor did not issue any form of threat to Mr. Obi, but rather emphasized the need for high-profile individuals, particularly politically exposed persons, to notify and seek security clearance from the governor before embarking on any public engagement within the state. As we wear pampas now. Is this a security-related protocol or step one of a dangerous authoritarian trend? And what does it say about democracy, political tension, and citizen rights ahead of 2027?
Now, we're also hearing that the Labour Party's Senate caucus has asked the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and the Director General of the Department of State Services, Adeola Ajayi, to take note of the governor's threat. In a statement signed by Senators Victor Ume, Ireti Kengigbe, Isaiah Oke and Tony Nwoye, the caucus reminded Okpebholo that Section 4, I think subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, provides for freedom of movement, or Section 41. It's in the Constitution. It provides for freedom of movement and expression for all Nigerian citizens, stressing that Peter Obi is a citizen of Nigeria and his movement is guaranteed and should not be curtailed by sheer executive lawlessness and impudence. Whew, Lord. Let's take a look at some reactions. Peter Obi is a national political figure and ought to follow the protocols. The governor said Obi can't come to Edo for any political rally or engagement without informing the CSO of the state. Peter Obi can't undermine the authority of Edo because he wants to score cheap political points. Let's be clear. I can't speak English today. I'm sorry. Let's be clear.
Mr. Peter Obi does not need anyone's permission to visit Edo State or any other state for that matter. Not now, not ever. Perhaps Governor Okpebholo should focus more on governing in a way that earns him the kind of love and connection that Peter Obi enjoys amongst the people, the way Mr. Obi has consistently done through his exemplary leadership. Tolu has passed it to me.
Sorry.
All right, so Peter Obi was coming to Edo State at will and holding rallies during Godwin Obaseki's time in office, but the obedience was steadily insulting him. Today, Okpebholo has banned Peter Obi from entering the state without approval. The joke will always be on the obedience. Edo State is a part of a democratic nation, not a personal empire. It's not a classroom where people need permission to visit. Peter Obi, like every Nigerian, has the right to move freely, especially when his visit is to support education and empower lives. Why must a governor feel disrespected by an act of goodwill? The country is so corrupt. That statement by the Edo State governor asking Peter Obi to seek permission before he visits the state is very unnecessary. Obi does not need such clearance to Edo or any other state. The governor should rest. Well, this is a silly, dangerous, irresponsible, and totally condemnable statement. Edo State is renowned the world over for her hospitality. We want Peter Obi to know he's always welcome to visit and that he does not need permission or clearance from anyone to do so. All right, so...
Wait now. I can't wait. Let's also remind you that just a few weeks ago, the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Elia, in a notice signed by his chief press secretary, Torzo Kula, also declared that he was not expecting any August visitor and warned that any group or high-profile individuals seeking to enter the state for visits must reconsider, adding that the safety of such visitors could not be guaranteed. And so he's basically towing the line or rather now, the Edo State governor is towing the line that the Benue State governor had put down. But just a quick reminder of the visits that Peter Obi has made in recent times. He's visited UNN dental students in Enugu, donated, I think, 15 million. There's no response from that governor. In Ogun State, he visited for the condolence of the Awojale of Ijebuland when he passed. Kano also was a condolence visit. Kaduna was a condolence visit. Katsina, former President Buhari's condolence visits. He visited Edo State. I think Philomena College of Nursing also donated some money. Anambra, he visited Sir John Vinay Science College as well. And then, of course, we know he was in Benue after the situation there got warned by the governor. Okay, Catherine, now.
I was saying, I was thinking loudly. I said, so when I was going through the reactions, I was saying, so are you saying that if Peter Obi has a brother in Edo State, he cannot visit? Or are you now saying that you're speaking out of emotional because, you know, you were on stage and you were talking to people who were cheering you on and all of that, so you spoke out of the fullness of your... Did you really mean that? Did he really mean that?
He's saying that he was misunderstood, that it was not a threat, but as the chief security officer of Edo State, he was issuing him what he wants him to do so that he keeps the state sane.
I'm wondering, maybe we didn't hear the same statement. Maybe we didn't hear, because I am just
Let's put the statements back up.
We need to be very careful because 2027 is coming.
Yeah.
And the narrative that they are pushing, this is not a one-party country.
Yeah.
Where only one party exists.
Yeah.
This is a democracy. At least the last time I checked, that's not what we practice in Nigeria.
At least it's what we claim.
At least that's what we claim to practice, even though I do there are so many things I have to say on democracy. But that is what still obtains in this country. And if we begin to do these things, it's as if everybody is trying to say that, oh, if you don't belong to a party or you are not part of this political party,
you didn't say this.
You don't have a right. We heard what the governor clearly stated. Imagine if some assassins were planning to do something dastardly, and they did. You can't you just attack? If a common person made this kind of blatant statement,
It'll be picked up.
it'll be picked up immediately. That if something, in fact, you'll be made to sign an undertaking with the police,
Yes.
that if something happens to this person, you will be held responsible. And that is why we need to guard what we say out of our mouth, especially our political leaders, who we're supposed to respect, and their words are supposed to matter. Are we no longer supposed to take the words that they speak as something you need to respect? Because if they can just say anything they like and nobody can hold them accountable, should Mr. Obi not be afraid for his life as he is?
And he can decide to escalate it.
And he said it more than once.
Civil
And
society.
he said he wasn't joking about
And he
it.
said he
Yeah.
wasn't. So that's why I said, is it from the fullness of his heart that the mouth spoke like that? Because
And
he
now
just
he's
went in.
And now his team is now
struggling
beginning to help us interpret what we heard in English. If he had said it in Edo, maybe I would have said, we don't understand the language. But he said it in English. Now they are using English to explain English.
And you know, sorry, go ahead, Blessing.
Yeah, so I've heard so many times that people, especially people in governance who should be careful with the words that they use, come out and say, oh, my words were misconstrued or misinterpreted.
Misinterpreted.
Yes.
It's okay.
I'm tired of this. I'm responsible for what I say, but I'm not responsible for what you hear approach to governance. It's so exhausting. And it's two-sided. I what they say, what's that word? Double standard.
Double standard,
Because
yes.
when you say it, it's not wrong. But when someone else says it, you see it as a threat. You pick the person up, especially like she said,
Of course.
just a casual citizen saying it to a politician. Can we just stop this?
Pick a side, guys.
Let's just stop.
Pick a
And I
side.
think, again, heading towards, whether it's heading towards 2027 or not, it's a very dangerous thing. You are responsible, yes, as the governor, for the security of everyone within the borders of your state. But the Constitution of Nigeria allows people freedom of movement. But is there a higher level of expectation for security for someone who, as the statement says, is a politically exposed person? I think there are ways in which statements could be passed. This could have been said in a different way. It's in the manner, it's in the tone, it was in almost like the way he was making fun of him, saying he's someone that he said he doesn't have
And then he sang after.
And he sang, like, can we play that again? Let's just, maybe it's us that are just joking things up.
I don't speak English anymore.
Listen.
I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, she will get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
No, I said it was.
We need a soundtrack on this show because honestly, after that thing, I wanted to put that traditional. You know that come after a video where you just cannot understand what is happening. No, this is we need.
But come on, let me ask: if Peter Obi was in Edo State and something happened to him, who would we blame?
Of course, the governor will be blamed.
So again, I think it's just down to manner of approach, and I think because there's all this realignment and alignment and political alignment and cross-carpeting and people leaving parties. I think people are trying to, in a way, show the president or show the president's people that, you know what, don't worry, I got this thing for you. I have it locked down. I'm not going to let any, I want to say something, anybody come.
Element
and,
or
you know,
any, yeah.
and there's an element of, I'm the governor here, I say I'm going to deliver this party, I'm going to hold this, I'm not going to allow anybody have an opportunity to try to speak in the
body language. Because that's why I said,
there are many ways to say
no
that.
one's fighting with you. In your body language, it seemed like, and then you're throwing jabs at him and saying, person, wait, you know, it's there in the body. It's the body language at first. That's why I said.
Imagine the money he donated was for charity, was for something good, I think for students
why
or
are you so
something.
ruffled, sir? Why does it
why
bother
does
But
that-
all of that, let's not be naive. We also understand that there
Yes,
are
I know.
politics in some of his movements, but he's entitled to put politics in his movements if he wants to.
Are we not all gearing towards 2020?
So why is it everybody else can
everybody is trying to be visible? It's not what you do. You're appealing yourself. You're pitching to the people. You want people to look at you in a better light. Is that not what all politicians should be doing towards elections? We are supposed to be enjoying. Looking at how everybody from every party is trying to woo everyone. It should be done with transparency. You bring Gary, you bring hot water.
This is the only period that Nigerians' opinions matter.
So it's like going to marry new wife. You have to lollock the family of the village.
Don't let us go to Friday right now because some prominent person just took another wife. When you said that, did you see it?
Blessings! How is your expansion of the family?
I saw that one.
You don't know? They've married new wife for you
Did
guys.
marry new wife for you people?
You don't know?
You're late.
Your uncle now. That
But you know a lot is happening in Kogi State right now.
And you're not on top of things.
And you're not on top of it.
Oh, why did I? Oh,
I tell you, go.
beautiful.
I will marry you.
I'm so happy that this time they didn't break the road so that people can at least go for the wedding. I don't know, why did I know?
No, so this
I saw the story, but it didn't click that it was my people.
You know, Tolu started the week last week on a very, in fact, she forewarned us
Yes,
that it's going to be a heavy time. And she has now brought another story that I don't know if this borders on pain or anger or disillusionment. I can't really put my emotions to, I can't use a word to describe how I'm feeling with the way everybody in politics thinks they can just do anything they like and there's no consequence for our actions.
Do you know
bad.
had that accountability?
And you know when they then warn citizens about making comments and say we should be careful of I hate this term, heating up the polity. Nobody heats up the polity as much as Nigerian politicians.
We should do 10 words we don't like on the Jasiri table. 10 phrases.
No one makes misguided, unguarded, needing clarification, wrong statement, investigate. I don't want to
Look into investigate.
Rest assured that
Nothing is being
ultra-modern. We condemn ultra-modern. Our deepest
I do not condone. We do not condone. Honestly,
they're just jokers.
It's a lot.
No one heats up the polity as much as Nigerian politicians. No one.
And I'm just, you know, half the time I will sit down and I wonder that, are these the people, if any Nigerian is looking critically at the polity, honestly, if I have my way, I'm already picking from their body language, their actions, who I want to vote for.
You know, they can
out?
be very immature. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nigerian politicians can be immature. There's a story that I'm itching to see how that's going to play out. And I saw it in the makeup, and I was like, huh? Are they serious? A lot is happening in this girl's hometown.
We have not even said the one that I want us to say.
I'm like, should I just go ahead and say it because we're about to wrap up?
Please say it.
The Senate has warned Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, who represents, let me give you the story, who represents Kogi Central Senatorial District, to not resume just yet because she cannot resume, saying the suspended lawmaker just simply cannot resume. They said that the judge actually did not give a resumption order or recall order. Advisory. That it was advisory.
There's no bad publicity. That's just all I would say. Keep embarrassing us.
No, but can't we just say live well and know? You know, there's a way you have exerted your power. And the person is already, Yoruba will say, you cannot kick somebody that is down
already
further into the, under the ground.
You are going in that
into
direction.
the down.
My direction again remains, this is the man third in line. If something was to happen to the president and the vice president, you are the Senate president, and I think there's also another term, he's the president of the National Assembly. I think there's another designation as well. And you have led this crusade, this campaign that got to a judgment, and the judgment is advisory. And you're also a law-making body inside this country, and yet you advisory. So where is the respect for the rule of law? law.
Rule of
That's
law.
another
Rule of law.
What are the consequences?
Rule of law.
Rule of law.
Accountability.
So everybody goes to court. We say, oh, we don't want you to fight. We don't want blood to spill. We want you to follow due process. Due process is another
that
word.
word too.
Due process. You say she followed due process. We've done this. We've done that.
So what
everything has
else
happened. So how many months are remaining in their term? Really? That we cannot
Why
treat
are
ourselves.
you guys, and you keep putting your foot in it, why are you guys so fascinated, fixated, carried away
Because it's
by the
trampling
senator?
on their ego.
Ego.
It's no longer a matter of what she did or
So
what she didn't do.
now this has passed. It has become.
It has passed, be careful. I've not heard that in a
Wait,
while.
It has passed. Be careful.
It's because
It has
I
become
think-
it has become c'est trop sale déjà.
C'est ça. Maybe we should even be speaking French now because all the English was in
It's filthy now. It has become dirty. It's become muddy. It's clear now.
Where are we going?
So,
Is it not our house? Where are we going?
She's not talking to you guys. She's talking to the She's talking to the
We're going to
director.
go eventually. Everybody can just imagine if a journalist just makes an unguarded statement. It's as if you start to fear for your life from the day you said it out of your mouth. But people in politics are allowed to say things, and there's no consequence for their saying.
There's no consequence.
Can
Can I go now? We can go. Okay, they said we should
I
go.
missed you speaking Yoruba on the show. When
So
did
that, hello, ladies, comport.
Sorry.
Thank you. And that's how we start the week. Apparently unhinged. Unhinged, bold, and clear, as well as unafraid to ask the hard questions. On Jasiri, we don't just report the stories. We challenge systems and spotlight voices changing tomorrow. As you step into your Monday, remember, courage isn't about being loud. It's about standing firm. Keep questioning, keep showing up, and keep choosing purpose over pressure.
Because trust me, you will love it.
You want a gunner. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.